It can be terrifying to learn you have advanced cancer. There are options. There is hope. The first step is to make sure you have a team determining the right treatments at the right times.
I'm here to tell you that there is hope, and having an advanced malignancy, which is what I'm going to talk about, doesn't mean that there is no hope.
I was a liver cancer coordinator, and I had 2 spots on the liver. Like everyone else, I did not think it was cancer. They caught it early enough where I did have surgery, and now I get maintenance scans every year. Building a team is not only important in oncology and cancer, it's important in all aspects of care.
I had my colon resection, and then I started chemo on the FOLFOX. I did that for 3-4 sessions, and then I had a break so that I could have a liver resection. And then a month after that, I finished up my chemo, and my CEA started going up, which is a big indicator for me. Nothing ever showed on a PET scan, nothing showed on a CT scan, but when I did an MRI, then they found it in the liver again. The first time I had 7 tumors, and they were either cut or burnt out. This last one was supposed to be a 3-hour surgery to remove 3 spots, and it turned out to be an 8.5-hour surgery because of all the scar tissue.
Sent me over for a CT scan and take me to surgery. I thought I had appendicitis. Came into the room to tell me that I had stage 4 colon cancer. So then they started me on 12 rounds of FOLFOX almost right away. It wasn't quite a year, and then the cancer was back, stage 4. So we did fall theory. That one, by the end of it, I was so sick I was begging to stop. So after I kind of regained and got my health back, he started me right on maintenance chemo. And I'll be on that probably the rest of my life. They went in and did the liver ablation twice. I had 2 spots, one right next to my heart and then one over on my right side. They removed 14 inches of my colon, my ovaries, my fallopian tube, and then later removed the spots on the liver.
I don't think there's a single doctor out there that's going to be able to replace a team of physicians that are working together to tackle a problem or to take care of a patient.
I was diagnosed with intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma in September of 2010. And so my first liver resection was 11.5 hours, and they removed 75% of my liver. And the liver is the only organ that regenerates, so it did regenerate. I followed with 6 months of chemotherapy, and I thought I was done. I thought, this is it, I'm done with it. And 2 months after finishing that chemo, I had 2 new tumors with my first recurrence. I then had another liver resection, 8.5 hours of surgery, and they removed 35% of my liver, and followed with another 6 months of chemotherapy. And I thought, okay, this is really it. I'm really gonna be done with this now. And I've had 4 more tumors for a total of 5 recurrences since then. More chemotherapy, 3 different treatment phases of stereotactic radiation.
I think that if ever, and I'm going to steal some of the lines I tell my patients, if ever there was a time to do what you do when you buy a refrigerator or a car, and that's check around. Doesn't mean you don't like your doctor, doesn't mean you don't trust them. But gosh, if you're going to buy a refrigerator and you go to 4 stores, wouldn't you at least go to 2 doctors to stay alive? And so it's never, ever, ever an offense to a good physician when you say, who else should I see?
I was diagnosed at age 37 with stage 4 colon cancer. I went through 4 rounds of chemo, then I did 5 weeks of radiation. After that, I did another 4 rounds of chemo. And it was another metastasis. After the lung resection, my oncologist thought I should go do chemo again. So the day I walked in to start chemo, the room was very small and it was crowded. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this today. And I left and decided to go get a second opinion done at Barnes in St. Louis. And the doctor down there said, you know what, you may be cured. I don't think you need to go through chemo again. So that's been 8 years ago, and I've been cancer-free since.
And we have this whole team of people. So one of my greatest prides is getting all of these people in a room with you at the center. right? And I know it doesn't always feel that way because sometimes people feel like they're talking over you or they talk like, in another language, right? I mean, it's like, gosh, we've got an adenocarcinoma that is KRAS mutated, da 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 da. Please break this down for me, but please understand that for most of us, and I really believe this, you are at the center of this.
My diagnosis was stage 4 colon cancer with 17 mets to the liver. I did 6 rounds of FOLFOX with Avastin, and the new oncologist did a CAT scan and determined that after 6 rounds of FOLFOX, the cancer was inactive. And 3 more months, and I was NED for 4 years. Then recurrence in May. I'm back on the Avastin and Xeloda, so now we intend on this being a lifetime chemo. What gives me hope is just thinking about the possibility that there can be a cure within my lifetime.
I was diagnosed with islet cell carcinoma, which is neuroendocrine cancer of the pancreas. 1 treatment with the Sear spheres. The only symptoms I had were I was tired, I slept. So I went in, I had the 1 lobe treated, went back and had the 2nd lobe treated, and those cancer cells are still decreasing in number and size.
And the next day, found out I had the tumour in the colon, transverse, and then next day it was in the liver, and then the Friday it was the operation. So then in January we went away and just for the weekend, Pete and I, and chewed it over, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then decided no, we'd go with the Surspheres.
One of the advantages of being in a small group that's kind of focused on the oncology patient is our ability to see them promptly, see the patients in consultation, get everything authorized, get the procedure done as quickly as possible. We do multiple therapies that are image guided. Some are intravascular, where we go in through the artery using X-ray guidance. Sometimes we use CT guidance for ablation or other procedures in the liver and kidney.
2 years ago, I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer that had spread to my chest and my lung and my liver. So after we realized that the liver mets were not responding to the treatment I was on, my doctor sent me to Dr. Van Meter, and we got started on the Y90, the radioembolization, right away.
I've had stage 4 liver cancer for 8 years. I have a primary neocarcinoma mactate of the liver, but then they said, well, we can offer you 2 more different options, the embolization, or I could try a chemo pill. They were doing a current clinical study that was doing really well if I wanted to try that. So I started taking it. In 6 months, my tumor started shrinking dramatically. My largest tumor is now about egg size, golf ball size. A lot of my other tumors are completely gone.
The best thing you can have is teams of doctors working together, what's called a multidisciplinary team. We have the cancer surgeon, you have the pathologist, you have the radiologist, you have the interventional radiologist, you have the medical oncologist, you have the radiation therapist.
I'm a stage 4 melanoma survivor and found out that my melanoma had also spread to my liver. And I had 4 quarter-sized tumors in my liver. I had the spot surgery to have that removed. And then we did chemotherapy, which did nothing other than make me nauseous. Then we took a summer off. Nothing changed. We tried CyberKnife, where they used directed radiation. That did not touch any of the tumors. They weren't really growing, but they weren't going anywhere. So then my oncologist recommended I go talk to Dr. Eric Wang to see if this new treatment called Surspheres would work for me. And they did mapping to block off certain portal veins and whatever, and then I had Surspheres in December of 2009. After that, and since that day, I have not had any evidence of disease at all.
I think that when we work in a multi-collaborative approach, the patients actually get the best care, leading to the best responses. We've seen several instances where patients are treated with local ablative techniques and regional liver therapies, And I think that when we work in combination with systemic chemotherapy, we really get the best responses.
I was diagnosed in January of 2012 with stage 4 colorectal cancer, and I had a met in my pelvis. He told me that it had metastasized into my liver. So I had a liver resection. I had about 1/3 of my liver removed. I started taking different kinds of oral chemo and different kinds of infusion chemo. In July of 2014, I met Charlie Nutting, and he is a radiologist at the Cancer Center, and he recommended SIR-Spheres. My oncologist agreed with him, and so I was able to have the SIR-Spheres mapping, and then I had the procedure done 2 days later. And they did a CAT scan in December of 2015, and I have been with no evidence of disease since that time.
In 2006, I was diagnosed with liver cancer, end stage. I had a tumor the size of a lemon, 5.5 centimeters, and I was told I had 6 months to live. SIR-Spheres and Y90, what it did was I had this huge tumor in my liver. My liver was toast, and they gave me beads of radioactive stuff that went in, and it shrank my tumor down to where it gave me enough time to possibly seek out the impossible.
See many people in the same predicament, the same club. You know, we were all together. Everybody has similar problems, even though they may not have the same disease. It's the medications that they have to take, the problems with the medications, the inconveniences of the side effects of the medications, or going to the hospital, getting the labs. Yeah, there are so many unanswered questions, and when we get together, we see that we're not alone.
You know, I hate you use the word survivor because everyone's ongoing with it as stage 4 because it sounds like it's done and over with. I almost feel obligated to speaking for those that can't speak for themselves. Even if I have 2 years or 6 months to live, helping someone else get more gives you more than anything else you could ever ask for.
I will be honest with my patients. I was very honest. I don't believe this is curable. But I promise you that if there's anyone in this country or in the world that can help you, I at least will try to get you to them. Because I don't think I have anything else, but maybe somebody else does.